hit record. We're going to use a strap today, and we'll use a couple blocks and a blanket. Okay. All right, you guys. So let's start seated because the energy was really high this morning. That's good. Yay, because we got a high energy class too. So just feeling the floor, taking in your surroundings. I know you're a little close together, just making sure you got enough space. Noticing all the sounds you hear. Light, color, texture. And then feeling yourself let go to gravity a bit. So, if you're holding yourself up with any tension, feeling for softening, maybe your jaw or your face. You might begin to notice your breath coming in and your breath going out. Might even take an exhale out your mouth like you're blowing out through a straw slowly. And as you take your next inhale, going wider with the inhale. So thinking of more a 360-degree breath around your torso. And you can always keep breathing out through your nose or your mouth, or you can transition to more of a ujjayi breath, like a pranayama style, where you can hear the sound of your breath. So today, our practice, we're going to do a really good, strong practice. So, noticing in your own life, like just notice what pops up when I mention this, just an area that you're feeling particularly strong in. It could be mental or physical, just an area of your life or emotional. And then is there an area of your life or your body, mental, emotional, or spiritual, where you feel like you need a little more strength, where you'd like to gain strength? And without going into the story about that, just kind of letting it be there as an intention for yourself. Take another wide breath and long exhale. And we'll come onto our backs. And you might want to turn your head so it's toward the center of the room so you have room to reach overhead, but you don't have to. You could always put head and neck support below your head with your blanket and just have your strap within reach, okay? And when you come onto your back, let's straighten out the legs. And then we'll inhale and reach arms overhead and reach through your heels. So get really long on both sides of your body. Good, and exhale, let's bring the right knee in and catch it with your hands. Give it a squeeze. Good. And now using your right hand, just take the knee out to the right. And as you exhale, bring it back to the center. Placing left hand on your knee, let's twist, bringing the knee across your body. Good. Exhale back to center. Let's hold the knee and inhale. You can tuck your chin and try to curl up toward the knee. And then exhale, lowering head back down, foot back down, straightening leg out. Good. And then inhale, reaching arms up and over again. And exhale, bringing your left knee in and giving it a squeeze. Good. And then using your left hand, taking the knee out to the left. And exhale, bringing it back to the center. And switching hands, and inhale, bring the knee across your body. And exhale back to the center. And then holding that knee with both hands, you could inhale, tuck the chin downward. And exhale, curl up and back down, lowering foot. Good. And then just straightening out on the floor for a moment and noticing. Good. Following your breath in and out. Noticing all the places you're making contact with the floor. And then let's bend both knees. And you may or may not need your strap for this, okay? What we're gonna do is bring the right knee in, and it's gonna be bent, but reach the foot, so the sole of the foot starts to face the ceiling, and the right knee is bending down towards your armpit. And your right hand can reach up and grab the outer ankle or shin or the pinky edge of the foot, or you could use a strap for that. Okay, so that's where the strap comes in. So it's like, it's a half happy baby pose, right? Or a lunge on the ceiling, right? Good, now breathe. Now press your hand into your foot like you're trying to bend that knee right into your armpit area. Good. And then try to kick the foot back up. So you just create a little counter pressure, but you're keeping the knee bent. Good. Now from here, we're going to do our rocking. Some of you have done this with me before and some of you haven't. So what we'll do is keep that pressure, but rock and keep that left knee bent, rock to the right, tapping the knee down on the floor, and then come back up to the center. So you're rocking down like you're trying to pull the knee down, and you come back to the center. So some people, depending on how mobile you are in the hips, some people will be able to keep the sole of the foot facing the ceiling, and some won't, and that's okay, all right? Some will need to rock more to the side to make it happen. Good, so just let it be really easy. Don't make it hard on yourself. Let yourself rock, let that left knee bend, and keep breathing. Good. And try to feel this. Of course, you're getting a stretch in the hip, but can you also feel a little bit of strengthening? So you've got that counter pressure pushing back into the hand. Good. Now, next time you come up, we're going to change it a little bit. Okay, so we're going to place the left hand on the sole of the foot, or you can hold the strap in the left hand. And the shin will come parallel to your chest, sort of, all right, as much as you can anyway. Okay, so it's like the sole of the foot is now facing the left, figure 4 type stretch or a pigeon type stretch, right? Your right arm could come to the side, and we're going to put counter pressure again, foot to hand to foot. And as you exhale, just start to tap the foot down on the floor on the left, and then back up. So you're doing just a little twist and then back up with some counter pressure. And you can let yourself rock fully over. The right hip can come off the floor to let you do that. And the left leg, you might want to straighten it a little more, like it might feel better if you straighten it. Good, a few more of these. Just rocking and back up. Good, you guys. All right, next time you come up to center, let's release your foot or your strap and just straighten out the legs on the floor. Take an inhale and an exhale. Notice the difference in the two legs. And then as you're ready, let's inhale and bend both knees. And exhale, bring the left knee in. Same thing, the half happy baby. So you're gonna reach up with your left hand or strap. You can reach anywhere on the outer left shin, ankle, or foot, or hold the strap. And when you're ready, apply counter pressure, foot to hand to foot, and then let yourself rock to the left a little or a lot. Try to tap that knee or thigh down and back up. Let the breath be continuous. Keep breathing. And just notice how this side is different, if it is. And noticing when you're holding your breath. Your breath can inform you and how you're doing in your practice. Are you pushing things too hard? We don't need to push things too hard, right? We can do just enough effort to find some change. So just enough stress, just enough effort. And next time you come up, let's transition to that second position where the shin comes more parallel to the chest, right hand to sole of foot if possible, or strap. And your left arm could go out to the left. And now you're twisting, bringing the knee across the body, foot comes toward floor, and let that left hip rock up, right? So you're rocking over. You're not trying to keep it down or anything. Let your right knee do whatever it wants to. Might want to be more straight, might want to stay bent. Couple more of those. Noticing what your mind is feeling like this morning. Is it all over the place, or is it more focused, or is it tired? Couple more. Good, and then coming back up to center, straighten out the legs for a moment. Notice the two sides. Follow your breath in and out. All right, now we're gonna bend the knees and we'll all use our strap this time. You're gonna take the strap, one in each hand, and stretch your arms up toward the ceiling. We're gonna do jump the strap for those of you that are familiar with this. So if you're not, don't worry. So you might need to, if you have short arms or if this is hard, and it is hard for a lot of people, for most people, okay? I'm gonna put my index fingers to like make the strap taller. You know, I'm kind of like extending my hands, making my arms longer. Yeah, okay, now from here, I'm gonna pretend that I'm going to jump over this strap. So I'm gonna draw my knees into my chest. And as I exhale, I'm gonna try to bring the feet over to the other side of the strap, like on the head side of the strap, without moving my arms, right? So doing it by really hoisting your hips up. So doing a pelvic tuck, drawing the core in and lifting up. It's like this, arms towards ceiling. Yeah, like that. So you can imagine, like if I had a bar in front of me and I was trying to jump up like that. So let's see, watch Chris for a second because he's doing it right next to you. Boom, like that. Yeah, yeah, and you guys at home, just let me show it. Yeah, you got it. You've done this with me before. Here, Susan. Okay, and you might not be able to do it, okay? You might not be able to do it, just know this, okay? Just working towards, if you need a break at any time, take a break. And some of you, it'll be easy for, and if it's easy for you, try to do it without as much momentum. Try to really use the core to lift the tail without rocking as much, and just use the full core to do it. Good, you guys. Nice, and then take a break. Just set your strap to the side, arms down, do whatever you want to with your legs. You might want a windshield wiper. You could take a sigh or two, maybe even let your head rock side to side. Notice how you feel through your belly area now and through your hip area. Following the breath in and following the breath out. Good. And then let's bring the knees in towards your chest again, one hand on each knee. And as you're holding one hand on each knee, let's take an exhale and rock your tail off the floor, just like you did in Jump the Strap. Just gonna rock it up. Some people have a lot of trouble with this. So if it's hard, that's normal, okay? Okay, now, is it possible to let go with your hands and lift the tail off the floor and hold it? And just exhale. Try to relax through your neck if you can. You might need more blankets below your head. Good, and then rest, right? You might want to put the feet down in windshield wiper. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do here is an upside down crow pose. So if you're not familiar with what that is, don't worry, I'm gonna show it. You can turn and look, or you can just listen. So what I'm gonna do is lift the tail up like I was just describing. And I'm also going to try to reach my arms to the ceiling as though the ceiling were the floor. And I'm going to try to bring my inner knees to my outer tricep area. And I'm tucking my chin and reaching my hands up. Yeah, and just breathing and then resting and coming down. Yeah, so if you're familiar with crow pose, and it's okay if you're not, right? It's a pretty challenging pose for most people, right? But this is the kind of feeling you want to have in it. It's like you've got to draw your core in that much. The arms are on the inside of the legs. Yeah, right? Because they're be balancing on them. Yeah, good. All right, one more of those if you're ready. You can even kind of come in and out. You don't have to lift the head if it doesn't feel good. Keep breathing. And then rest. Bringing the feet down, windshield wiper the knees side to side. Take a sigh or two. Good. And then we'll draw both knees into the chest again. And curl yourself up into a little ball. You might want to hold behind the knees. And let's see about rolling like a ball. So forward and back, feet down and back up. And if this hurts your back at all, just roll to your side and press up. You don't have to do it, of course. Okay, remember, round things roll. So you got to make your spine really round in order to roll. Good. And then we'll come all the way up. Can you balance and come up? Like kind of come up and let the feet hover, maybe? Ooh, like a little boat pose. Good. And then let yourself go back again. It's a little more control with it. Good. And then let's just come all the way up. You might want to face the center of the room again and moving through some cats and cows. So inhaling, tail up, chest forward, exhaling round. And as you round, we're focusing on this position today. So just noticing how that feels in your spine. You can even shift the hips around. And it might feel really good to roll back out after all of that abdominal work as well. And a few more, you guys. Good. All right, now next time you come into your chest forward pose, this one, yeah, cow, tail up, find your breath, and on the exhale, let's exhale sitting back towards child's pose. My head will come down last, and then as I inhale, I'm going to round my spine, coming into cat, lifting back off my heels, and then roll back out to the cow pose and go back on the exhale. No right or wrong way to do this, just moving through your spine, articulating your spine, almost like it's got this wave-like motion and going forward and back. Maybe you can keep the arms straight as you do this. You might feel like you can't do that, but you can play around with it. Now, if you want to, you could make this a down dog instead. So when you come up to the cow, or when you go back rather, exhaling, lifting the knees and pressing back. And as you inhale, bending the knees, watching them lower to the floor, rolling back out to cow. It's okay if your breath doesn't match the movement in this. Just keep breathing. Good. So you can choose, right? You could always stay with child's pose. And then another choice would be, instead of coming down to knees, you could instead from down dog roll out to plank, a high plank pose. And then bend knees and go back to downward dog. We're just doing a few more, any of those variations, whichever feels best in your body in the moment. Trying to get this feeling of being a little more fluid in your body. Good. And then we will meet down on hands and knees, and we'll just spread the fingers really wide. And now if your wrists, or I know some of you have arthritis in your thumbs or wrists, you might need to take weight back. But if you don't, you can go ahead and put weight forward, what the amount feels okay to you. And I'm really pressing my fingers down, almost like I'm clawing into the floor with my fingers. Yeah, and this will take pressure off the wrists as well. And you can start to shift your weight around on the hands to notice, and be gentle with this, just noticing, how your hands are doing, how your wrists feel in different positions. Pressing down at the base of each finger as well, where the finger meets the rest of the hand. Good. And then let's do a little more active wrist extension. So if you go back to child's pose and try to lift the hands and the fingers up to face the ceiling as much as they can, and then rise back up and go into your passive stretch where you lean a little forward into it. Again, just to your own tolerance without going too far, exploring your mobility in your wrists. When you go back, you're trying to do the same thing, that same motion of extension, boom, up, right? Noticing where your strength is in your wrists. Good. Now, next time you come up, let's come down to the forearms. You're gonna let your neck relax. You might need to watch for a moment, but then let your neck relax when you can. And inhale, turn palms up, thumbs toward floor, exhale, palms down. And that's it for a few rounds, just the same thing. Being aware of, the differences side to side. How can you get each thumb down or not? Good. Now, the next time you turn your thumbs or your palms up, making a fist, pressing down where a watch would be, and trying to lift the backs of the hands off the floor. So knuckles towards ceiling and then back out, spreading hands wide. And let your neck relax on this one. I know I get really tense in my neck if I don't remind myself. Just focusing on what muscles are working as you lift the backs of the hands off the floor. Good. And then next time you spread back out, palms back down, you can lift the elbows and exhale, downward facing dog again. As you come into your downward facing dog, move around however you'd like to. And let's try to use the hands in the same way you just were. So pressing down at the fingertips, pressing down at the base of each finger, pressing down in the space between your thumb and your first finger. Now, can you come into a little bit of a rhythmic breath, meaning you inhale for maybe a 4 count and exhale for about the same or a little longer. So you're just feeling the breath go in, feeling the breath go out. So that can become a focus for you. 2 more breaths there. Right, and now slowly walking hands and feet toward one another. Letting your knees soften, letting your neck soften. You might shake it out side to side or nod it a bit. Again, feeling a wide breath on the inhale, a sigh on the exhale. And then as you're ready, you can take hands above knees and inhale, extending your spine forward. And exhale, let's bend the knees like you're seated in a chair. And inhale, reaching up toward the ceiling as you stand. And exhale, your arms can come forward and down or out and down or through the center. Okay. And then just stand, taking your feet parallel, noticing your arms hanging. We can get your blocks actually and bring them up toward the front of your mat. Good. You got your blanket nearby for knee padding. All right. Let's do this. All right. And then with feet parallel, just feel your toes on the floor, all 10 of your toes just wiggling around here. Feel the three points of your feet, three corners of your feet, almost like a little triangle. Ball of big toe, ball of pinky toe, center of heel. Right? That's it. And then standing a little taller. Good. Exhale, relaxing your shoulders. And then when you're ready, you're gonna inhale, reach the arms up. And as you exhale, let's hinge at the hips and fold. You can bend the knees enough so your hands can come to your blocks. And then inhale, extend the spine forward. And exhale, let's step the left leg back. And just leave it up. Let's leave the knee up, actually. Okay, good. Reach your right foot forward enough so that your knee is over your ankle. And you might need to bring the blocks up to high, just see what works for you so that you're not rounding through the spine. Good. Inhale here and exhale here. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's lower the left block, twist open to the right. So left hand down, right arm reaches up, chest opens to that side. Good. Inhale there, engage the left leg strongly. Exhale there. Good. Inhale again. And as you exhale, let's bring the right hand back down to your block. And we'll inhale, reach your chest forward. And as you exhale, let's try to straighten the front leg and let the spine round so you can dip your chin down and your head down. And then we'll come back to the first position. Inhale, chest comes forward, bending knee. Good. Exhale, round. You could always do this with the back knee down instead if you prefer. Okay, a couple more. Now, the next time that you come forward to your lunge, let's check yourself here. So heel is down, okay? Straight line from knee to ankle if you can. And again, blocks can be any height. Let's on the exhale, press into the block, straightening the leg a little bit. Do you see what I'm doing with my spine? I'm rounding it. So I'm coming up like that. Okay, so I'm going inhale, coming down, back to my lunge. And as I exhale, I'm rounding, and think engaging belly as you round. And then inhale back to your lunge. We did this last week for those of you that were here. What you can try the next time you exhale and round is you can try step, other leg is forward and lunge. Good. And then you would inhale, exhale, round, inhale, and exhale. You could try step, other leg forward. Okay. Now, the option is, some of you know it because you were here, the option, you don't want to be on high blocks if you're doing this option, okay? You want to be on medium blocks or low. But the option here is when you exhale and draw in, perhaps you want to hop. So you could exhale, jump, switch. Okay, so you can just try it out, or you can stick with the step, okay? So do what works for you. You can also just stick with the practice, right? With the engagement and feeling that. Remember to use your breath. So on these, especially if you're trying to hop, use that exhale, because the exhale will help you draw the core in. Good. And we'll end up with the left leg forward. Okay, so meeting us there. And when you're ready, just getting strong there, shoulder blades moving down back. Strong back thigh. Breathing. You can lower that right block when you're ready and exhale, twist open to the left. You don't have to look up. You can look wherever it feels best on your neck and breathe. Really feeling the strength of your hips. Good. Maybe it would even feel good to look down. Just check it out in your own neck. Good. And then as you're ready, and exhale, bring the arm down and adjust the blocks however you want. We're just going to go between a lunge and Parsvottanasana is the name of this pose, just wide-legged, intense stretch. So you can come between the two, inhaling forward and exhaling, straightening a little or a lot, and letting your spine go between rounding and neutral. Good. And next time you come to the lunge, we'll pause there and we'll practice again. So you just start on your exhale, feel like you're gonna push into the arms, round through the spine and engage the abdominals and repeat. It's like you're imagining you're gonna hop, right? You're imagining you're gonna hop. And then you can either hop or you can step, okay? Let's play around with it, see what feels best to you. And then as you're ready, doesn't matter what leg is forward, we're going to put the blocks to the side and step either to high plank or to knees down plank. So knees down plank, I'm going to be on an angle like this, right, with my tail tucked. Knees up plank. My hips are high, but without hiking at the hips, just tucked. Good. Breathing there. And from here, let's slowly lower down. You can drop to knees or you can come down through chaturanga, come all the way down to the floor and into Sphinx pose. So up on your forearms here. And pressing your pubic bone down. Inhale as you spread across your collarbones. Exhale. Good. Now on your next exhale, let's reach the right arm forward. And it's like we're going to twist, you know, we normally twist, but instead just sort of roll over, but not all the way. Try not to hit your neighbor. I'm reaching my left arm around. Good. Get a long side stretch, breathe. And then when you're ready, exhale, come back to the center. Prop yourself back up in Sphinx pose, inhaling. And then exhale, left arm comes forward. You start to, like you're gonna twist around, but then reach that right arm around. Let that right knee bend. And then come back as you're ready and inhale back to Sphinx pose. As you exhale, let's practice engaging the abdominals and trying to tuck the tail. So it's like you're coming out of Sphinx pose, right? You're lifting up and tucking the tail. Okay, now if your back feels okay doing so, and it really just depends on how your back is health-wise, right? And how much you can tuck. You could come into forearm plank from here, from this position. If it's bothering your back, like you can feel it compressing when you're trying to push up, then instead you can come into forearm plank from up here, okay, and walk it back. Okay, so you're gonna see what feels best. Right now, we're gonna exhale, belly draws in, tucking tail. Did you see how I came up to my knees? And I'm really letting my spine round in this forearm plank. I'm doing a little bit more than I would normally do, okay? You can stay on knees or you can lift knees up. Engage your glute muscles. Neck is in neutral, right? Shoulder blades are wide apart from one another, protracted. If you need to come down early, come down whenever you want to, and you can rejoin and try a second one. Relaxing your jaw and tuck that tail under. So instead of booty up towards ceiling, Like, here, let me come back here. So instead of this, right? This, not this. Good. And then when you're ready for a rest, you guys, we're going to puppy dog pose. So you can put the knees down, hips are high, arms stretch forward. It's like downward dog with the knees on the floor. So different than child's pose. You can have arms straight or bent. As you inhale, breathe wide into your rib cage. Good. And as you exhale, let something relax your neck, your jaw. Good. 2 more breaths like that. Good. And now let's rise up to hands and knees. And I'm going to bend the elbows again, forearms to floor. Now imagine that you've got like a beach ball, a big beach ball between your elbows. And I'm going to try to keep it between my elbows. So I'm going to squeeze the elbows toward one another as I exhale and try to lift the elbows off the floor just a couple inches. Okay, so really create space between your shoulder blades. Really wrap the shoulder blades around the rib cage, protracting. Here, come down for a second, you guys. Look at me for a sec. So instead of being here, I'm here. Protract, protract, and I'll come back there to show. You can also try that here, right? Or here. You see the difference? In fact, let's just try it with elbows on the floor. Protract your shoulder blades. Widen them so the middle, the space between them goes up toward the ceiling without rounding the spine. Okay. And now can you keep that and try to float the elbows up, squeezing your beach ball? Keep breathing. Neck and jaw relaxed. Good. Okay, rest. Let your neck go. Notice if you're trying to do it with your neck. Breathe in and out. You might just stick with that version, okay? That might be enough. You could also try to float the elbows and also tuck the toes and have the knees up as well. Just a little off the floor with both. Got to really engage here. Of course, it's using a lot of core strength as well as shoulder, neck at ease. Take a rest whenever you need to. You might stretch the arms forward as you rest. You might find like, oh, it's enough for you just to practice lifting your elbows, right? So just do what is right for you. Everybody is different in here and needs something different. So finding this action right here, this protraction of the shoulder blades and the wrapping, this strengthens the serratus muscle, the anterior serratus, right? That might be enough. That might be what you need. Okay, some of you are going to float the knees again. Let's try, okay? Choose what you want to do. You can even try to go back to downward dog. So straightening the legs a little or a lot, but keeping the elbows in this way. It's called turbo dog. I know it's hard. Good. And then either finding downward dog or child's pose or puppy and taking a few breaths there. A few sighs. Remember, not trying to overdo anything, giving yourself just enough challenge for today. And as you're ready, let's come down to our knees or up to our knees and have a seat. And put the feet in front of you. You can hold behind your knees. And inhale, sit up tall. And exhale, Navasana. Good. Now, you can stay here. You could always have one foot down, or you could let go. You could always have hands here too. Okay, keep breathing. Good. And then as you exhale, let's bring soles of feet together. Open up the knees, Baddha Konasana for a moment. Inhale, sit up tall. And then exhale, bring knees together, back up, Navasana. Okay, now in Navasana, at least the way we're doing it today, is we're trying to have somewhat of a neutral spine, right? Shoulders down, we're not trying to round here. If you scoot a little forward on your mat, some of you don't need to, you could start to come more into Ardha Navasana, which means half boat pose. So I'm gonna sink my ribs like a hollow body and start to come down. You might say, no, right? And come back up. Another way you could try to do that is with feet on the floor, right? So you could try to do it like that and come back up and then come back up to Navasana. And you can even grab the legs to give yourself a break, right? Bring chest forward, inhale. And then as you exhale, you could experiment with Ardha Navasana. You could put your feet down, right? Could be like this. Good, and then come back up, exhale. Inhale. Let's do one more, okay? As you exhale, think ribs sinking toward back ribs, front ribs toward back ribs. It's like you're trying to get hollow in the front, like in cat pose a bit. Good. And then inhale back up. Baddha Konasana. Feet together. Let your jaw relax, let your face relax. Inhale. Exhale. Good, again, inhale. And as you exhale, let's take your feet to one side and come onto your feet in a forward fold. Inhale, hands above knees, reaching spine forward. Exhale, bending knees like you're seated in a chair. And inhale, rise. Exhale, arms down. Good, inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extending your spine forward. And exhale, left leg back to a lunge. This time we're gonna drop the back knee so you can get your padding. Put it below that back knee. Your blocks could come on the inside of your foot, on the big toe side of the foot, yeah. And we're gonna let the hips come forward into a lunge. So instead of a half kneel, we're forward, but not pushing it too far, right? And can you engage your butt muscle, your left glute? Just feel that. And now let's feel like you're sliding your right heel back on the mat toward the left knee. So you feel more of your hamstring muscle turn on. Can you feel that happening? Okay, good. I'm gonna try to keep that. So we're gonna keep that engagement. I've got both hands on the inside. I forgot to say that. I'm gonna walk my foot to the right slightly. Good. I'm gonna keep sliding the heel back. So I'm not just letting myself go into it as deep as I can. I'm engaging, okay? And in breathing. Now you might be able to stay engaged and come down lower if that feels like something you wanna do, you could. You could come down to your forearms or to the floor. But be really aware of the left hip flexor area, right? That tends to get overstretched really easily. So just keep that engagement happening, keep breathing, and keep your left glute engaged. Relax your neck. Good, a couple more breaths there. And now from here, if you're down low, you're bringing yourself up. And I'm gonna come onto the left hand on the floor. Now I'm going to walk my right foot over to the side. So now the right foot is pointed and the knee are pointed to the side, okay? And as I do that, I'm letting my left hip come down toward the floor so my belly and chest also face the side. That's it. I've come onto the pinky toe edge of that back foot. The knee might need to stay bent back there, or it might like to straighten. Good. And now I'm letting left ribs move toward left upper arm. Good, and breathing. If it bothers the wrist, just come onto the forearm instead. It'll be a little different, but it'll feel better. Okay, keep breathing. Some of you might like to engage that leg, push into the foot, and lift off the floor. But you can see if that'll work in your body without forcing it, okay? Keep breathing. And then lowering yourself back down. And slowly pressing into the arm, engaging through the core to walk your foot back to the center. Stepping yourself back to downward dog. You could always go through a vinyasa, which is when you lower to the floor and come up into cobra and then back through a push-up to down dog. And letting the neck relax, the jaw relax. You can also choose child's pose instead. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Now we're going to get that left leg forward and lunge. You can inhale, bend the knees if you're in down dog, and exhale, step that left leg forward, right knee down to your padding. Get your blocks on the inside of your foot. Let's find that engagement. So engagement of right glute as you let the hips sink forward. Then feeling like you're sliding the left heel back. It's just isometric. It's not going anywhere. Feeling your hamstring turn on. And for this one, your knee is above your ankle rather than your toe for our purposes. Okay, keep breathing. If you want to go down lower, you can, but try to keep the engagements going on. Let your neck release. And now as you're ready, you can come up if you're down. And then take the right hand to the floor and start to turn to the left. So first walking the left foot so it faces the left and so does the knee. And you can come onto the pinky edge of the back foot or you can bend the back knee. As you start to let the right hip sink down and the right ribs move to right arm, it's okay to let that shoulder shrug up toward ear. Good. Just try to get a stretch through your side, maybe your hip here. If you need to be on forearm, just be on forearm. Breathe. And then we're transitioning to more of a side plank pose if you want to. So when we do that, shoulder blade down back, start to lift up onto the pinky toe edge of the back foot and lift that right hip as far away from the floor as you can. Good. Keep breathing. And then as you're ready to come down, you might need to bend the back knee to ease yourself down. Turn yourself around and come back to your downward dog or resting pose of your choice. Breathing. Maybe take a sigh or two. Couple more breaths. And now let's inhale, come forward into plank pose. You can also be in knees down plank. Let me show you what we're doing first and then you can decide, okay? So we're gonna try to do, if you're in knees up plank, your feet will need to be a little wide, okay? And you're gonna just try to tap the opposite shoulder without kind of doing this thing, right? So trying to stay the core really engaged. So knees down is a great option to try the same thing, okay? Yeah, but tucking the tail, so you're not in a tabletop position doing this. I mean, you can be, but I think everybody in here can do a knees down plank where you're tucking the tail and coming forward and try it, okay? Good. Keep breathing. Good job, you guys. Just trying to keep that pelvis stable and breathe. Not trying to do it with your neck. Okay. Good. And then when you're ready, coming back to child's pose, you can roll the wrists around, or you can sit up and roll the wrists around. Take a couple of breaths. Release your jaw, let your neck go. All right, through down dog. This time we're gonna walk our hands back toward our feet and pause for a forward fold, a couple of breaths at the back of your neck. Letting that neck go. Feeling the breath come in, rib cage widen, and then letting the breath go out. Now slowly, hands above knees, reaching chest forward. Exhale, bend the knees, and inhale, stand. Exhale, arms down, however you want to. All right, now you just need enough space side to side, probably just as wide as your mat, but you can turn if you want to. I'm gonna come into a little modified chair pose. It's a little bend in the knees come a bit forward. Okay. I'm gonna inhale here, and then exhale. I'm gonna put my weight on my right foot, so I'll mirror you guys. Left leg crosses. Maybe, okay. And then inhale back up. Exhale, chair. Inhale, lift right leg. Exhale, cross. Hands can be wherever you want. I'm just doing this out of habit here. Inhale up. Just going side to side. Your breath can flow. It's not set with the breath. Okay. So working a little balance. Of course, the knees, if they feel aggravated, you don't have to do the crossing. You could just be doing chair pose. Okay. Okay. So we're hinging at the hips, and we're also hinging at the knees, but more of a knee than a hip hinge. Good. Now let's stand. Alternate with your neighbor so you don't hit them. I'm just going to inhale, take the arms wide. Exhale, let's cross right arm over left, either for a hug or for eagle arms. So eagle arms is when you hook like this, yeah. But if it doesn't work or it hurts, then hug, okay? Inhale, breathe into that space between your shoulder blades. And as you exhale, let your neck relax. So the area around your neck is at ease. Good. Inhale, breathing into that space. Exhale, soften your jaw. Good. Inhale, let's take the arms wide again. Exhale, other arm on top. Same thing, either a hug or eagle. Good. So getting into the tight spaces on the upper back with your breath. Then inhale, open wide. Go even go a little back if you can. And exhale, arms down. Shake it out a little bit. Let's bring the blocks up to the front. Just at the, let's put them at the edges on the medium or the low height. Okay. And standing up near them. We'll inhale, stand tall, and exhale, let's take the left leg back, warrior one pose, but with feet like they're on two tracks, not a tightrope. Okay, good. Shift that right hip back. And same thing, see if you can feel like you're sliding that front heel back toward the back foot. You turn on your hamstring. Good, front knees bent. Good, hands could stay here, inhaling, engage your left glute, or they could come up. Inhale here and exhale here, feeling the three corners of both feet and breathing. Good, one more breath. All right, now, if you're looking up, look forward. Inhale, start to transition to that front foot, meaning take the weight toward the front foot. And exhale, see if you can lift that back foot up and off and cross it, putting your foot onto your block for a little extra balance. So it's like eagle pose with a little balance. That right knee is bent. Yeah, if you can, if it's not hurting the knee. And you might find you want to kick the block shorter. Like for me, I wanted it on the low level. Good. Now you could add the arms if you want. It would be right arm on top of left for hug or eagle arms. Whoops, going down. Keep breathing. Okay, how are you doing? You can always come to chair, right? So you could always uncross and put both feet down. Keep breathing. Inhale. Now, if you want to, you could try to draw the belly in, round the spine, taking elbows toward knee, like a cat pose. Good. Keep breathing. Right knee is bent. If you're doing that, inhale and rising back up. Good. Exhale, uncross. Let's try to stand up on one leg. Inhale. Left knee comes up. Exhale down. All right, you guys, shaking it out. Other side, okay? So now you kind of know what you want with the blocks, right? Let's start with the feet between the blocks. I think that'll set you up for the right placement better. Inhale. Exhale, right leg back, warrior one. Just get yourself situated. 3 corners of both feet pressing down. Any arm position you want. I'm just choosing this one for me today, but you could go out, down, breathe. And when you're ready, we'll exhale, start to transition. You just start to shift your weight to that left foot. And then as you're ready, inhaling, bringing the leg, exhaling, crossing. You could always end up in chair pose instead. And then that left knee bends if it doesn't hurt the knee. And then you can add arms if you want to. It would be left arm on top of right, hug or eagle arms. Keep breathing. Good. Nice. You can stay upright and work here. Or if you want to, you could exhale, round the spine. So we're thinking cat pose here. Elbows toward knee. If you're folded, you could try inhaling, coming back up. Good. And then exhale, undo yourself. If you want to, you can try to balance, bringing the right knee up, inhaling. And exhale, stepping down. All right, just kind of bounce around a little bit. Hop, hula hoop, whatever you want to do. Just something in between. Good. All right, we're going back to warrior one, you guys. Okay, so right leg forward, left leg back. We're not going to use the blocks this time. All right. And from here, let's inhale, take the arms out, and exhale. We're going to bring them behind the back. Maybe the knuckles can touch one another like this. You see what I'm doing here? Yeah, that's it. The purpose of this is going to be to open the shoulders, okay, and the chest. If you have back pain, you're going to need to modify for what feels okay. Okay, keep breathing. Maybe you can feel your breath against your fists. Now you could try to straighten the front leg a little or a lot. You could try hinging. But as you hinge, can you hinge only the amount you can with your back still opening, with getting more extension, right? So it might not be very far. And shifting that right hip back and rolling the shoulder heads back. Good. Neck is at ease. Good. And then as you're ready, if you're folded, just inhale, rise back up. Release the arms and bend the knee. Just notice for a moment. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale, hug, right arm on top, or eagle, right arm on top. Now this is I love this pose. Warrior one, eagle arms. You can stay right here, okay? Or if you want, you can exhale and try to step the left leg forward and cross. Okay, so either pose is fun to work with. All right, so work in either one you want. You can use the block or not, and breathe. So if you're doing eagle, squeezing everything into the midline. And if you're doing eagle, let's try to fly away. So what we're gonna do is open up the arms, open up the legs, send the leg forward, and then down. Good, shake it out. If you're in warrior, just step forward. Okay, other side. Okay. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, right leg back. Inhale, taking hands. They could stay on hips if this isn't working for you, or fists with knuckles pressing against one another. Shoulder heads rolling back. Good. Feeling 3 corners of both feet, breathing. Staying here or straightening leg more. Staying here or hinging in a way that allows you to extend through the spine forward. Good. Keep breathing. Nice. Feeling those 3 corners of your feet supporting you guys. Awesome. So stability through breath and feet and hips. As you're ready, you could exhale, trying to rise. Bend the knee, release the arms. Good. Inhale, open. Exhale, left on top of right eagle or hug. Inhale, breathe into the upper back. Exhale, staying here or coming into eagle pose, right leg forward. Sitting. Squeezing everything into midline if you're in eagle. And if you want to, fly away. Good. Stepping down. Shake things out a little bit. All right. I'm gonna take the feet a little wide. I mean, maybe shoulder width. And we're coming into Malasana. So that's a squat. Now you might find if your heels, you got tight ankles or calves, you might want to put your blanket below your heels as you come down, right? Or if you have knee issues, knee pain, a spacer behind the knees works well too. You just need a long blanket or even a folded up mat. And it would go behind the knees as you come down. Okay, and that can be really nice, even if you don't have knee issues. Okay, yeah. If you need to sit instead because your knees are not tolerating this at all, just stack up your blocks and sit on them. Okay, good. Yeah, just breathing here. You can shift foot to foot if you want. You can let yourself, if you're okay here, you can let yourself round too. Just let your neck relax, your jaw relax. If you want to sit on blocks before you try that, go for it. Good. And then as you're ready, let's have a seat on one block. Well, you could use 2, of course, but I think 1 will be enough for most of you. Across, so it's wide across your butt. And I'm going to mirror you. No, I'll opposite you. Okay, so let's put the left knee down and the right knee up. Left knee down, right knee up. Okay, and find your strap. Sorry, I hope it's not too far away. You probably fold it in half for this. So what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm doing Marichyasana C pose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be rounding forward like this. So this could be your pose where you just come here as long as nothing hurts when you're doing this. Okay, you come here, modify if anything hurts, like your knees or hips. And then with your left arm, you could start reaching it as far, or your right arm, sorry. So now I shouldn't have done this. Your right arm, reach it as far forward as you can. And then turn the thumb to face down so the palm faces the right. Good. And now, would it be able to wrap around the shin and internally rotate the arm? So it's like it's trying to reach behind your back. And this is where the strap comes in. So you take the strap in your left hand and you swing it behind the back and you see if you can find that strap. So your right arm is low on your shin. Yeah, you got the idea. How's it feel? Like a pretzel? Let your neck go, let your jaw go. And we're practicing rounding. The right hip does not need to be on that block. It can come off. It'll help you to get it. Yeah. Okay, neck at ease. And then as you're ready, you can start to come out. You can let go with the straps and just use your hands to help yourself press up. And switch. Okay, so right leg folds under, left knee up. Remember, you could just practice hinging, right? So it could be just a nice hip release with the back rounding. Right? If you want to try the wrapping thing, your left arm reaches forward. So you're trying to get low on the shin. That only works if your hips are open that way, right? You're not going to force anything, okay? Then thumb goes down, palm to side. You can see, how does it feel to internally rotate that upper arm bone and wrap it around like you're trying to reach your low back with it. And you could take your strap in your right hand and flip it around your back and see. Just let your neck relax, your spine round. Anybody feel claustrophobic in this pose? And then when you're ready to, you can let go with the strap and use your hands to help yourself rise up. Stretch out the legs for a moment. Good. All right. Now, I'm going to take your blocks and put them on the low level in your mat. And sometimes it's nice, I found people like this. They could fold up your blanket. Just put it out in the front of your mat. You'll see where you want it in a moment. And I'll show you what we're going to do first so you can get the idea. Go diagonal, I think. What I'm going to do is I'll be standing on my blocks, okay? And I'll come down into a squat. It's okay if the heels are up. They don't need to be down. Your knees need to feel okay to do that. So if they don't, you don't need to bend them as much. You'll be doing this instead, okay? I'm gonna put my hands shoulders width and get that same hand position we've been working on. And then I'll be rounding, but I'm gonna look at my blanket. See, my blanket is out ahead of me. So my head wants to look there. And I'm practicing for Bakasana or crow pose, right? So I'm just seeing like, can I get that feeling I got on my back where I was really rounding and lifting my hips up and rounding forward, feeling my hands this time, looking at my blanket, making my elbows have to bend at first, and maybe I can make a little shelf with the arms and with the feet, but don't look back here because if you look back here, you're gonna go down, okay? All right, and you don't have to do it either. You can just do the practicing, right? So you just come down with the hands. Hands need to ground. That's the most important part. And then if you're bending knees, the knees open. And you start to round the spine, press into the arms, round the back, draw the belly in. And look at your blanket, not your knees, or even a little ahead of your blanket, and just get, yay, good job though. Yeah, I know, that's how it feels. That's why we got the little landing pad. It kind of feels like, oh, right? So you want to keep getting that feeling like you're lifting up, right? Rather than just going forward. So there's a lift up. And you know, what you could try to do, you guys, just take one foot off. Right, just 1 foot. Could 1 foot come off? And see how it feels. Keep rounding, keep rounding. Yeah, nice, everybody. Good work. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. No, if you're not falling, you're not trying hard enough. Just joking, just joking. Not in yoga, but that's what I used to tell the kids in skiing. But not in yoga. I don't want people falling everywhere. Right? It's okay to fall. As long as you don't, you just want to be able to catch yourself if you fall, right? Yeah, right? Okay. Good job, you guys. You can always keep trying if you want to try more. Otherwise, let's come down. We're going to just have your blanket close by. You can face whatever way you're most comfortable. Have your block close by. We're coming down onto the back. Oh, what time is it? Nope, we can't do that. So we'll do supported bridge. So I'm not going to keep you here till noon. All right, so we'll get it into supported bridge pose instead of Purvottanasana. We're going to get the feet set up and inhale to lift the hips as high as you want to. You can do an active bridge if you want, or you can go right onto your block or bolster, setting it below your hips at any height. Taking some sighs here. We did a lot of hip flexion, right? Where the knee was bent up. So now we're just trying to open the front of the hips a little bit. Letting yourself settle onto the block. Taking a sigh or two. And you might want to have yourself on a low block to straighten one leg on the floor. Totally up to you. And if you've got a leg straight, if that's feeling okay, then from there, you just imagine you're breathing into the front of that hip. Imagine your breath is going all the way down to the front of the hip. And as you exhale, kind of letting go of some of the activation in your body, and let your body settle. And if you've been doing one side, you could switch sides as you're ready. The same thing. Letting your jaw soften, your face soften. Ah. Yeah, you could always stay here longer, any version of this pose, or you can come out when you're ready, and windshield wipers might feel good, or any kind of twisting. If you have a favorite sort of twist, you can feel free to do it. Might be legs crossed. Or any other pose you feel like your body wants right now. Might do knees to chest. Now you can finish in Shavasana, lying on the floor with any version of your props below head, knees. Or you might want more of a chest opening position, since we were doing so much chest rounding, which could be a folded blanket below the upper back, and maybe even a block beneath the head. Letting the shoulders fall back. choose what feels best to you. We'll be here for just a few minutes today. And before you let go of your breath completely, let's do a little lengthening of your exhale to help downregulate the nervous system. You could inhale and then exhale using your pursed lip exhale or your Ujjayi breath or any other natural breath. Let's do a few rounds of a long exhale. And then you might just sigh, letting it go. Letting go of as much effort as you can. And when you practice on your mat with this physical asana practice in yoga, you can transfer some of that over to your daily life. You know, the things you are working on, finding that inner strength and stability, using just enough effort. Might bring your mind now to an area where you'd like to let go a little bit. Maybe you're holding on too tight or forcing things. Just practice letting it go with the exhale. And again, letting go of a little more effort. And I'll end our session with the sound of Om today. And that's just meant to represent this underlying sound of all things and the interconnectedness. You can join your own sound with it if you want. You can move when you're ready, or you can stay right where you are. I want to inhale and then I'll Om. Inhaling. Om. Thanks, everyone. You can just bring movement back as you're ready to. You might move slowly, humming out. Take in your time. And I'll see you next time, you guys at home.